President Droupadi Murmu, who's slated to address the joint sitting of the Parliament today, which will be her first presidential address after the formation of the new government, the new BJP-led NDA government for the third time at the central post. This is after the general elections. Following the address, a motion of thanks will be moved in both the houses of the Parliament, which will be discussed by the lawmakers. The first session of the 18th Lok Sabha that started on Monday. Now it's the Rajya Sabha's turn. It is the Rajya Sabha session that will also begin today. So both houses will be in a session. Do remember yesterday it was the NDA candidate Om Birla who was elected as the Speaker of the Lok Sabha for the second time. And this is after Prime Minister Modi moved the motion in the House. It was Om Birla who defeated the opposition's candidate and 8-time Congress MP K. Suresh. Post-elections, Om Birla received congratulations not just from the Prime Minister but also the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, and various leaders from both the NDA and the opposition. So to get more on this, what can we really expect? We have Maria joining us. Maria, when we talk about the President, take us through the priorities of the day. Of course, we do know that there is a lot lined up as far as the Parliament is concerned with the Lok Sabha and now even the Rajya Sabha that will start today.
Yes, so the Rajya Sabha session also begins today, and as far as the priorities of this government or the agenda of Modi 3.0 is concerned, that will be in many ways unveiled by Droupadi Murmu. But the big highlight could be very much about emergency, the message that has been reiterated in the last 3 days, be it the Prime Minister who spoke about it in his first, soundbite that he gave when on the day one of the inaugural session, or even during soon after the Speaker was elected. Mr. Om Birla actually saying that there should be 2-minute silence, and will that be repeated today? Let me bring in Aarti Jairath, who's joining us live. We also have Amitabh Tiwari. Aarti, are you sensing that 50 years of those very, very dark days of emergency could very much find a mention also in the presidential address today?
Yes, Maria, could well be. In which case, of course, there will be a big controversy. And I hope that, there will be no disruptions when she addresses, because after all, the Parliament is meeting for the first time after the elections. And, you would expect a certain amount of decorum. But, it is a sensitive topic as far as the Congress is concerned. So, and the Congress is now much larger in numbers. So if she does raise it, it's quite possible that there will be disruptions during her speech, which will be very, very unfortunate because, already this Parliament session has got off to a stormy start. Then yesterday we saw some amount of bonhomie and return to normalcy, which again was then disrupted by the Speaker mentioning the emergency and asking for 2-minute silence. So, let's see. But I'd also be very interested to hear what the President has to say on some of the core issues, the core agenda issues of the BJP, which, if you remember, Amit Shah had listed out in an interview during the elections, things like the Uniform Civil Code, one nation, one poll. These are all controversial issues, which I think even the BJP's coalition partners in the NDA are not in agreement on. So is she going to mention these issues also when she unveils the new government's agenda in her speech today? It'll be, I'd be very interested to watch this.
Yes, while we wait for the President's address, there is a controversy of sorts which has begun. The reappointment of Sam Pitroda. He was asked to resign after those string of controversial statements which caused massive embarrassment to his political party. And now he has been reinstated immediately. That was the appointment letter which came last evening, Amitabh. Sam Pitroda and Manishankar Iyer, these are two leaders who are known to make those statements which are seen as almost giving ammunition to the political opponents of the Congress party, which is the BJP here. And now Mr. Pitroda is back. Of course, he has been told that there will be great degree of caution on his part. But then he tends to agree to his own statements. He says that it has been taken out of context repeatedly.
Yeah, so Sam Pitroda did make some controversial statements during the election campaign. and BJP latched onto them. And perhaps at that time, Congress felt that these could harm the party's prospects in the elections. That's why Congress took the decision of removing him as the president of the Indian Overseas Congress. Now, with elections over, now with an improved performance and a stronger opposition in the Lok Sabha, the Congress perhaps feels that Sam Petroda is the man for the expansion of the party or the expansion of the organization, which is called the Indian Overseas Congress. Mind you, Rahul Gandhi has been on a trip of sorts to many countries abroad, wherein he has outlined the vision of the Congress party and also criticized the government on issues like constitution and demeaning of institutions, etc. So he does play an important role in Congress party's. You can say he's like the spokesperson of the Congress party to the Western media
Overseas.
or of the
For the NRIs.
Congress feels, yeah, for the NRIs also. So the Congress feels that it needs him, and they have taken a decision. Now it's up to the BJP
Okay,
to
Amitabh, what are you anticipating today as the big takeaway from the president's speech, the joint address?
No, see, I think the president's speech will be largely focusing on the 10 years of achievement of the Modi government. So, in terms of poverty elevation, in terms of the various schemes like the PM Awas Yojana, Ujjwala Yojana, Ayushman, etc., which have changed the lives of the people. Now, it will also be laying the agenda of the government in this third term. And here it will be interesting to see whether the ideological core issues like the Uniform Civil Code and the One Nation, One Poll are mentioned in her speech or not. And of course, I think the focus will be on economy as to what the government intends to achieve in the next 5 years. Making India the third largest economy is clearly one of the most important positions which the BJP has taken. And also, there will be a lot of discussion on how a roadmap will be built for making a Viksit Bharat by 2047.
Yes. So the roadmap for
key
Viksit
elements.
Bharat 2047 is something that we are expecting. But a word on Sam Petroda, and then I hand over the show to Divya. Please go ahead, ma'am.
On Sam Petroda.
Yes.
So, Maria, isn't there a similarity between, sort of the government and or between Modi and Rahul Gandhi? Both want continuity. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, both. I think that's a good reading here, Aarti, to say that there's continuity here too, in the opposition space as well.
Too. Absolutely. And a very kind of, bullheaded approach to things that, I mean, I'm going to do what I want to do because I believe it's right, and, let's not look at numbers, let's not look at whatever, but I am there and I'm going to do it. So, so yes. But also I'd like to say that, apart from the outreach to NRIs and so on, actually Sam Petroda is very much of a mentor to Rahul Gandhi. And, he has guided him on many of his political decisions, over the years. So it's a very personal relationship with Sam Petroda. And I think that that is why he has come back. And it was actually expected, even when he was, he stepped down at that time. Even at that time, if you remember, we all speculated that once the elections are over, he will be back in his post because Rahul Gandhi depends on him a lot for advice, for guidance, for, he's like almost like the father figure that Rahul lost when he was very young.
All right. Aarti and Amitabh, stay with us. We have Sunil Prabhu also joining us early morning. Sunil, I want to understand from you, after what happened in Parliament yesterday, that entire uproar after short-lived bonhomie and tradition, particularly to do with what the resolution was, which was moved by the Speaker. Many are saying that why should a Speaker move a resolution on the day one of his appointment? If a government wants emergency to be the talking point, they should be the one moving it. But having said that, what is likely to happen in Parliament today? What is opposition strategy for the joint session?
Well, as you were rightly pointing out, Maria, it's been a process of confrontation, and I hope definitely the government has now started, because you can't continue this aggression on a continuous basis. It doesn't help neither the government nor the opposition, and it's in that backdrop I think they want to raise issues of concern. For example, NEET, which is, students are suffering, and want to raise that entire controversy because this involves lakhs of students. The president's address, as we've been pointing out, is really a statement of purpose of the government for the next 5 years, what it plans to do in terms of unveiling its foreign policy, its economic policy, its social policy, the measures that they're going to take. So those are some of the things that are going to be expected. I hope, and the practice has always been to listen to the president without any uproarious scenes, and to give her the dignified and the decorum that is required. That's been the usual practice, and I think that will be followed. But definitely, when the houses get started, and the speech as well as the others are laid on the floor of the house, we definitely can expect some amount of fireworks, because many are not happy with this confrontation approach that has taken off right from day one, rather than finding a way to just work together in terms of ensuring parliament and legislative business carries on.
All right, Sunil, thank you so much for joining us. A word from both Amitabh and Aarti. Aarti, it may not be just business as usual after what we saw play out yesterday when the chair, the speaker himself, moved the resolution. And tomorrow yesterday was 26th. It wasn't really the anniversary, which is 25th. So, the statement of speaker was seen as that wasn't really the right occasion. That's the sense that most opposition leaders say.
No, absolutely. And, the fact is, Maria, there is an entire generation of Indians out there who really, did not experience the emergency, who don't know anything about it. And, who are looking forward to a new future, who are looking forward to a new India where their aspirations can be met. So to go on looking in the rear view and looking back at the past, whereas it's good for students of history and, for students of political science and for students of politics, I think for most people in India, they would really like to look ahead rather than keep being reminded of the past. So I think that's one thing that, politicians should keep in mind. The other interesting thing that is going to happen now is that after the president's address, we're going to have the first big debate in Parliament this time, where we have the, motion of thanks for the president's address. And this will be the first big face-off between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi. And it will be interesting to see, the kind of tone and tenor that both adopt in their speeches. In recent past, because buoyed by the huge majority that the Prime Minister has had in Parliament, he's been very confrontational in his, even during the motion of thanks, where he's, lashed out at the opposition, in particular the Congress, and, kind of really lambasted them, gone back into history and, sort of picked on all the wrong things that they did. So is he going to continue with that tone and tenor, or is there going to be
for the moment,
conciliation
what appears, Aarti, from the very first soundbite that the Prime Minister gave, it is about him telling his party men and his MPs, this is how he sees the mandate. So the mandate clearly, according to the Prime Minister, the way he sees it is that they have to go all out, that they should not be, perhaps cautious the way we saw them with great degree of, similar aggression from the 17th Lok Sabha. Yes, go ahead, Amitabh, 30 seconds to you.
Yeah, so essentially, I think the opposition has been itching to raise the issues like NEET, price rise, unemployment, the train accident, the terrorism activities in J&K. However, the past 3 days have been gone in taking oath and the election of the speaker. Today also, I think, will be largely consumed by the president when she gives her address. So the next few days, wherein the opposition and the treasury benches speak on the motion of thanks, I think that is going to be key to watch out for, because this time in 2019 to 24, the opposition used to get almost half of the time, almost half of the time of the treasury benches, because it is based on the strength of the parties as well. Correct. This time, the time which the opposition gets also to speak on motion of thanks from various parties in the opposition will be higher compared to the last time.
And we heard some very sharp statements come in from Akhilesh Yadav also. I mean, it was full of sentences where one had to read between the lines, right from the height of the chair of the speaker to the position and everything. So I think there's lots to watch out for in the 18th Lok Sabha. Amitabh and Aarti, thank you so much. This remains our top focus here on NDTV.